Hey, Dashrath. Hey, Dan.
Hey, super.
Okay. So, as we promised last year, in the last meeting of ours, we'll talk briefly about Power Automate. I did some test checks and balances to see what has been added and what's possible with the latest release. We'll see how that flow goes, and at the end, if you would like to continue on this, we'll surely discuss the same stuff going forward. So let me go through the normal stuff. Where is my slide deck? Okay, here it is. So if you're watching the recording later and you would like to join the meeting, this link normally gets updated after this meeting or maximum by Sunday, where you'll get a link to register for the next meeting. And if you're here already and you don't want to get into hassle of registering every week, then drop your name and email in the chat, and I'll make sure you get invited every week. So before we get into the business central domain, I was just playing around other stuff that's available by some Twitter feed and all, and I thought this is super interesting. And I just wanted to get everybody's view on how they feel about it, and if they have went looked about it, this would be a good thing to look at because this is an open API released by, I don't exactly remember, so I should not use the name, called Chat GPT. It's getting huge interaction. It's kind of a AI, which, and it's not maybe open API, it's open AI, which was released in the last quarter of 2022, and it's fun to play with. Uh, it's getting good feedback as well as the bad feedback from the market. You can just search for openapi.com and you will come to this chat GPT website. And then you can always do a try chat GPT, which is pretty interesting. Now, it's kind of a chatbot where you can ask question and it'll reply to you. The cool part is that it can understand most of the things, I think, but it's getting negative feedback because it kind of tells you about everything. Like, it's considered bad for the new gens who are still in school and colleges where they can just ask a question to this and it'll give you a reply, which is bad. So let's, I don't want to spend more time into it, but because it was getting traction and I thought it's interesting, so I have some random questions from some website, maths puzzles and questions. So you just need to ask anything that you want, and it have an AI built in which will start reading your natural text and will start showing you the detailed solution for the problem that you have asked for. You don't have to do anything. Whatever you think about, like, you can also have a question from Business Central. It is not that good with the Business Central at this moment, but it can also um, read some functions for you if you like. I'm taking an example from Code Unit 80, and I'm just pasting this function, which is called get zero sales line by rec ID. It doesn't, it does not do that good at this moment, but it kind of tries to read your function, says this function name is this, it accepts these two parameters, and this is what this function is trying to do. Nothing major specifically, but at the same time, I was also trying to ask it that what happens if I say, let's do create a table extension for customer table in Business Central. So it'll give you all the steps that you need to follow, and this is maybe going to uh, the development environment mode, which is not the new mode, but this is your cal style of adding a new field or doing a table extensions into it, which I don't know how they are doing it. but it's pretty fun. As in, I'm pretty sure it'll go ahead and be something going forward. But right now, it's writing code to do something of a modification or an insert on your cal code or AL code. So just wanted to share that. As in, I was super curious how this thing is working, but at the same time, this also worries as in how much a system can do what a human does till now. Any thoughts before we go back to what we were talking about? Anybody else have dig deep
We,
into it?
if it becomes successful, we'll get out of business.
Like the
Just,
interesting,
just,
yeah,
just. Um,
like yeah, because the interesting part was that I was trying to say, okay, what if I have to say, let's say, OAuth steps to OAuth connection to Business Central. And give me summary brief steps about it. That okay, you need to do this, then you need to do this, then you need to register it here, and it's kind of gives me all the basic steps that I have to follow, like register your application on Business Central. You need to provide it a name, a description, a URI to redirect. Then you need to give it a client ID. You get a secret. Then you have to make sure that you have endpoint enable, and then it'll tell you about the uh, access that user grants, user authorization code. So it gives you all the steps, and that's how it's working right now. It's getting huge traction right now when you read about technology news, or if you follow Twitter about these stuffs. But just keep an eye on it. It's there. I don't know what the future look like, but it does exist, and you just have to register with your phone number. Right now it's a free thing. It also, you can ask it a problem of your code. Sorry. And it'll be able to help you around that model of your code, which I don't know what the future look like. But that's chat gpt, which is available. And yes, it have its advantage and disadvantage, and we can take mm, look at it from any perspective, I guess. Sorry. Okay. Didn't want it to deflect there, but it sounded fun when I was playing with it today. So I thought, let's give it a try and see how it goes. Coming back to Business Central and Power Automate, as we were talking about, there are 4 or 5 major enhancements that have been introduced with the latest release of Business Central. And I didn't want it to go into theory and other stuff of it. So we'll discuss two in this meeting. We'll see some examples of it as we do them. And then other two we'll discuss in the future meetings. The first one is around uh, till Business Central 20, there was no way that you could have enabled or disabled Power Automate as a feature. But now with the latest release of Business Central, Microsoft did add a new page called Privacy Notice Status, where using that you can actually enable and disable the Business Central use, sorry, the Power Automated use on a particular tenant. So if you just search for it, and as an administrator, if you don't want that to be enabled on your tenant for all the users, you can just go into that page, which will allow you to enable or disable different Microsoft services like Microsoft Exchange, OneDrive, Power Automate, and Teams. So, as an administrator, if you think that nobody should be using Teams with Business Central, as there is a tight integration with Teams and Business Central, you can actually disable it for everyone. Same for Power Automate and OneDrive and Exchange, which is used for the emailing piece. So, there's a setup which an administrator can decide. At the same time, if as an administrator you would just like to kind of block it to specific users, Then there is a permission set which is available called automate execute. If you do that, then you can remove it from certain users. They'll not even see those actions on their pages. So you can either turn it on or off for the whole organization for all the users, or for selective users based on permission set. We'll come to custom actions in a while, but those are the two major enhancement in terms of uh, what's possible for an administrator to enable and disable it. So to understand the custom action and a small demo of it, we'll see what's possible with Business Central 21, because there has been slight enhancement into it. That the idea is that you don't have to go out of your Business Central environment when you have to create a power flow. You can create it from there. You can even add a custom action on your page when you are creating a flow. Then you can also does a copy flow in the Microsoft Flow window, which already exists. But then the cool part is, as a developer, if you're building an extension, you can actually add flows via code, via page extensions, or if you're creating a new page. So look at that. So let's take a scenario. So on customers, we have this process that whenever we get a new customers, we would like to make sure that they get a welcome email, that we have created, they are part of our system now, and with their address and all. But at the same time, we'd like to do something more whenever a new customer gets created in Business Central. So what you can do, and this is only possible with the latest release. So if you are on Business Central 20, you might not see and follow these steps as it is, as we are talking about. But every page that's available in Business Central, including custom page, which have one action, there need to be one action on a page where you'll see this menu item on your ribbon called automate, where I was doing some testing. So I have one flow here, but you can always create a flow, or if you have already some flow defined, you can manage them here. So let's try to do a create flow from here. So as soon as you do that, it'll automatically take you to your Power Automate window, which will then allow you to do certain stuff. Now, the first window is for a selected record. Now, here, there is a new option added called page or table optional, which means, is there a page where you would like to add this as an action? So let's go back and let's try to add it on the customer card. So what is my page number? We just need to see that, which is 20 what? So page and data. It's page 21. So if I would like to add that action onto page 21 for user to execute, I can write something like this, as you can see here on the screen, which is page 21. I can say page 21. This action will be added into this page if needed. Now it already points to a record, which is the customer entity in this case. Then let's try to do, the first thing that we'll have to do is to get that record, to understand from where that record is coming from. And for that, Business Central have certain APIs, which you can, I guess there is an option somewhere. I guess it falls into the premium category for Business Central, but I don't know. Let's search for it if I don't know it. And let me zoom this in if this is not visible. Okay. So as soon as you zoom this in and you filter it out for Business Central, you'll see all these different triggers still here, which are available. Now they are classified into two. One is Business Central, which is Business Central SaaS, and then one is Business Central on-premise. So let's choose Business Central, and then it'll show you all the available trigger with the Business Central SaaS, because right now I'm working on SaaS. It says create record. If you have to create a record, if you have to delete a record, if you have to find a record, and get a record and so on and so forth. All these different actions. And if there is something that you would like to talk about, we can surely talk about it specifically. But for this instance where we already have a selected record, what we would like to do is to get that record. So get record v3. Now there are some predefined settings or minimum settings that you'll have to do. What is the environment name, which is which environment you would like to have this working on. In that environment, which company you would like to work this on. Is there an API that exposes it? Yes, there are Microsoft endpoints which are available on version 2.0. And version 2.0, which of the APIs, because there are so many APIs, and that will be customers. If you have a custom API, that will not fall into version 2.0. That will be grouped separately, like this is already grouped based on one of my custom API that I've created. So keep that in mind. If you're dealing with a custom API that you have built as a part of an extension that you are building, then don't look into this version 2.0 because that will contain all Microsoft API, which are part of your API v2 extension. For custom entity, you'll look into this one or anything that you have created based on the properties of your API pages that you have created. Then row ID is actually the system ID of the record that you have found there. As soon as you click on this window will pop up, which will suggest you some fields based on whatever the value this flow have based on the previous step, which in this case is our system ID. Okay, remember all your API interactions are done using the system ID field, which is a primary key if you think it from the nav or business perspective. Now, the first thing that we would like to do when we have that record, which in this case is customer, that we would like to send them a welcome email. And in that case, there should be an emailing thing. Let me search for it. Okay, which is send email. Then you need to send an email to whom? You can either hard code this that, oh, I would like to send it to this customer, or in your customer API that you have just assigned here, there should be an email field. So, okay, let's do that. I just need to click on here called add dialog and select what's available for me either from this or from this. And they will be grouped in these different areas. These are just suggestions, as you can see, but you can always click on see more if needed. But these are just suggestions based on the automatic detection of what kind of field you would be looking at. So from the record, I'm let's say looking at the email. It'll automatically translate it to whatever the value that you have on customer card email field. And then here I'll say, and you can do all kind of concatenations and other things here. I'll just keep it simple. And I'll say that, I don't want to make it generic. So I'll also add the customer name into it, which comes into the display name field of your API. So whatever my customer name would be, the mail would be subjected as welcome email to that particular customer. And then here in the body, you can again utilize some of the fixed text if you want. And then you can also utilize some of the predefined field from either of these pre-steps that you have. So let's try doing some emailing thing here. Hi, whatever the name of the customer is. Thank you. Whatever. Okay, and we are, let's say, looking forward. continue working together. And just to confirm from them, we will be using following details for future communication. And what we'll do is we'll just utilize all the address info from the customer card to kind of get a verification from them. What I can do, I can say, okay, we would like to utilize your address line one, address line two, let's say city, state, and country, postal code, phone numbers, email we have already done, and let's say website. And let's say then, okay. Now, if you have to bold and other things, you can do it here as you wanted. But that kind of becomes the sample email that a customer will receive as soon as this flow gets triggered from the central. So let's test this out first. And before I do that, let me rename this so that it kind of doesn't look untitled. Okay, and say welcome customer. Okay, let's save this. So now this is set, and if everything would have worked correctly, this will be available on my customer card as it is. So let me, on my other window, try opening my Gmail to see if I get that email or not. I'll have to change that on the customer. Okay, so let's go back here and let me close this one so that this gets refreshed. And on this customer, let's see, did that action get added? And I have a welcome customer now on this page, but it might go to a weird ID. So I'll have to change it and I'll give it my personal ID. So now if everything would have worked correctly in the automate, I should get an email on my Gmail. At the same time, you don't have to just wait there. You can always come back here on my flows and see your uh, flow run status. So it'll show you how many times you tried to running it, and it'll also show you what are the different execution history was. Did it succeed or not? Did that email ever went or not? It never ran as per this. Oh, okay. So yeah, when I click on that, it'll ask you for this permission all the time. So you don't have to go out. And this is for the manual execution. You can also define certain flow which happens or triggers automatically. But because this is a manual one, I'll have to continue it so that it runs and then run the flow. Okay, it says it has been run. Let's click done. And let's wait here. I'm waiting for that email yet. But it should show me in history here that it has been run. Oh, it succeeded. You can also check how much time each of these pieces of your flow has taken. 3 seconds. Let's come back to our Gmail. I see an email from our administrator. When I open this, I see that it says, hi, this guy, which is the name of the customer. Thank you for this and regard BC team. As soon as you kind of set this up, you get email and some enthusiasm team that, oh yeah, that all looks good. But whenever we get a new customer, we also, let's say, create a Teams channel for them in our teams so that the internal team knows about it and we are able to kind of maintain all their documentations and all in our team's channel. We have two major teams here. One is BC Open Discussion, one is Discount also, which is the standard one. So let's modify our flow. So the email is going with the manual trigger. Now what we want to do is, once the email is sent, we want to make sure that a channel on the Teams get created, and that channel then maybe post a initial message from the flow saying, okay, this channel has been created and you're good to go from here at this point. What we do a new step, and then there should be a Teams option here somewhere. Okay, this team, respond, create a team meeting. You can even create a meeting if needed. Add members to a team, create a tag for team. Okay, where is create a team channel? Create a channel, chat, create a channel. Okay, let's utilize this action. And if you have multiple teams, as you saw here, you first need to specify under which team you would like to add it. So let's say on BC Open Discussion, we would like to add it. And then the display name, you can again be creative so that you don't have to type it manually and it doesn't remain same for every customer that you have created. You can say, okay, I don't want to overlap it, so I would like to create it with the number later, but first let's say name so that my team can find it. This will create that team directly into your Microsoft Teams as it is. If you have to add a description over there, you can do that. And let's do that. Okay. Channel to store document for customers. And then let's say you have to post a message on a Teams channel. You can again add that. Now, the each channel that's get created will also get a unique ID in Teams. So now if you have to post a message to a Teams channel, you can search for post a message, I guess. That should be something like this. Yeah, in chat or channel. So when you have to do it, you need to define where you're posting it in a channel. Okay. It should show you new options, which team that channel should be. It's in our default team of BC Open Discussion. And what is the channel? Now, channel will be dynamic because you cannot say that I would like to post it into this journal channel, that message. The message should get into the channel that's just got created. So let's do a enter a custom value, and this dynamic flow window will open. I'll say on the previous step, which is the create a channel, you're automatically getting these three fields: the description of the channel, the display name, and the unique ID of the channel. That's what we need. And then whatever your message is. So let's say I would say, okay, hello, who? The salesperson who create who is associated with this customer, and I should be able to get into the get record 3 and ask for salesperson code. And if that's not there, I'm just using salesperson code. You'll actually look for a salesperson name with the tag at the rate so that that person gets notified, which is not part of the standard customers API. The salesperson name is not part of it, but if it's there, you can utilize that. And then again, in the same way, the channel is ready for whatever the customer is. Okay. With that, at this point, whenever the user runs it, because it is a manual flow that need to be run, after the email has been sent, it will also create a channel and post a message into the channel. Now, it's not an actual flow, but in an actual flow, what you'll do is you'll add a step before this and verify that that channel exists or not. And if it exists, then you'll skip it. If it does not exist, you will continue doing that. And we can try that if this works. Let's see that. So we don't have a channel other than journal right now. So we go back to our customer card and I hope this is saved. Yes. Okay. And from here, I say welcome customer again, and I'll have to click OK here. The window will pop up here. If you'll notice, because we have added some component, it will now also require you to have permission to access Teams, which was not requested earlier. You just needed Business Central and Office, because now you are adding the piece of creating a channel and then adding a message into the channel. That's where Teams get into picture. So you hit continue. If you have the right permission, you do a run flow. The first thing that should happen is I should also get an email again on this. So let's wait for that. Okay, it's still trying to run this. And you can also come back here and check the flow history or automate. I keep saying it automate flow. It's still running. It's not yet completed, but I have already received an email again with the same thing. I guess it's waiting for it to uh, create the channel and post a message in that. Okay. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see. Oh, here it is. The channel is here, and if everything goes good, it should have a message. It says hello. JO should be the salesperson code here. Let's verify that. Yes. Hello, JO. This channel is ready for daily research. At the same time, which is not here yet. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. It completed in 8 seconds. But now if I try to run it again, because the team channel already exists, it will error out because I didn't did a decision tree in the middle of the flow saying it should verify that does that channel already exist with that ID or not. So this is a manual flow which you can trigger from here, from this window. You can using the personalized option as it is, or the design option on the page. You can also move these actions to different area. That's all allowed at this moment. So you can just drag this, and if you think it fits somewhere else correctly, you can just place it under that menu. Come on, I was able to do it yesterday. Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. Let me drag. I was working on it. Sorry. So what is the unique ID of this is will be important to know because that is something based on which it's get created, right? No, I'm not a Teams expert. I'm pretty much sure that you can see that ID somewhere. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So, okay, let's drag this in and let's place it here because I think it's important that whenever a new customer comes, somebody from the home action should do a welcome customer so that all these predefined my initial setup for that customer is executed as I need it. So you can also play around these menus wherever you think they make more sense. Keep them as promoted and not. And then the user just need to click here. And if he or she have right permission, it will execute. Now, this is an example of where it's a manual invocation of something. You can also do a similar kind of thing on an automatic automation. Like if my customer gets modified, or if this kind of event happen, then do these 5 steps. Any questions before we start trying to maybe do a decision tree here on is it even important? I haven't tried it, but I'll be okay if you want to try that. Anyone?
You can, Saurabh.
Okay. So let's try with the decision tree. I don't know how that's get applied. I'm also as new as you guys are, or maybe more newer than you. But there should be a way to do a decision tree here. Let's do that. I guess that's called control condition or a switch. Hmm. I'm always confused about the switch. Identifies
Switch,
a
switch,
single case.
switch.
Switch. Thank you. What is
Yeah.
conditions are? Multiple
Switch.
conditions?
So switch will do it now. If condition this is equal to, then switch to this. Switch will be the right one, I believe.
Yeah, I'm
We
just
used it
trying to understand what is
earlier
the
also,
difference
no?
between a switch and a condition, I guess.
I don't know the difference, but I've used switch
Okay, let's
earlier.
try switch. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay,
So you can
so
define multiple
we
values,
want to switch.
case statements here.
Yeah. Hmm. So what do you want to switch it around?
Maybe country code equal to
No, I
so
guess
local
I
country.
want to yeah, I want to switch it around. Is the channel exist or not?
Oh, sorry.
You know what yeah,
Yeah,
that if the
but
channel
that's what
exists,
you will
it should
use,
not
huh?
try it'll
It,
fail, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
But how will you get the ID?
It'll only show me the previous one, but okay, yeah, there should be one more step. Add an action. This time teams. List teams. Uh, teams channel. Let's see. I don't know much. Let's see. They should have it. List channels. Okay. On the team ID. Is open discussion. And then my switch becomes that if the channel ID, no, what I'm giving here is the channel name or channel display name. No, it doesn't say that channel ID, channel name. Is this the display name or channel name?
Should be same.
Should be same. Okay, let's give it a try.
Sh-
Otherwise, it'll fail. We know. Okay, case. Okay, if not on channel name. Interesting.
so you will do it on the
Switch.
left side now. Case. In the case, you will say on the left side, yeah,
Oh,
equals blank.
okay. I'll say the same thing. I'll say the same thing. If it is equal to display number, display name and number. I hope so. Oh no, I can't do that. I should be able to. It doesn't allow me to do a case complex thing here. No. Hmm.
Use blank.
The channel name, there will be channels already, right? So it'll never be blank. You know what I'm saying? The channel list will return it all the channels in the teams.
Hmm.
Is there another API that I'm missing from Teams? Let me see. Is, should I be using the list channel or something else? Let me see. Is there something else? right? Okay. Okay, channel. Teams channel. Okay, create a channel, reply message and a get message, get mention, post, list teams. List all tags in a team. What? There's no channel? Only list channel. What this operation retrieves a list of all the channel in a specific team. Anybody have worked on the teams? Create a channel.
You should have used channel name as a customer name maybe, and then you could retrieve it from the earlier way. So you can save the values as variables so that you can filter it later on. If I remember it,
Yeah,
when we last
right.
time we
I
did it,
think you can. Yeah. So let's try doing that. Okay. So what you can do, as Sandeep sir is
add an
saying, you
action.
can add an action, and there should be a variable that you can define here. Here, set a variable, and the variable name is. I would like to give it a name, please. Okay. Come on. Oh, first I need to define a variable. Uh,
I don't
say
remember exactly.
that's okay. Initialize variable. Enter the variable name. The variable name is channel teams channel name. It's of type, let's say, text. Where is text? String. Okay, and the value will be um, display name and number. That's what we did. Display name and number. Okay. So now I have the variable stored. Thank you, sir, for that idea. Let's see what we do with that. And then the email is gone. That's okay. Then the list channel happens. This, and then I add a condition here. We said switch. Okay, let's do a switch.
If I remember it, switch always takes fixed value. You can't
Oh,
do a dynamic value
so let's do a control.
because we use it for finding some numerical values when I did tried it.
Okay, yeah. So now it seems it makes sense. What you are looking for is choose a value, right? Which is channel name. Okay, open it. Channel name is equal to my team's channel name, correct? The variable that we created here. If the channel name of list channel is equal to this, then if it is equal to, then just do a
Post message.
post message already exists kind of thing. Chat on a channel, and then you do it with the channel team ID is this, and channel ID is no team channel name.
You have to create this dynamically.
Sorry,
Are you going to create it dynamically? Are you going to select the
no,
channel dynamically?
I use the variable name this time.
Variable.
Okay. If no, then what I'd like to do is move this in the no. I can't do that. Oh, that's bad. Okay. I'll have to do it again. Create teams. Channel. Create a channel. Team ID is this, and the display name becomes again this. Okay. And then one more action here, post a message. Post a message in chat or channel. This time we get into the channel. We pick the team ID, and then the channel is based on a variable team channel name. And what we do is we just copy this message as it is. Okay. And paste it here. Oh. Let's delete this step if everything goes well. Okay. If everything goes well. Okay. So here is what we have done. Now, my only doubt at this point, while we are talking about it, is will this return a list or will it just return one? It'll surely return a list, right? Will this?
Yeah, it's basically applied to each, no? So wherever it is equal to.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then for all the no, it can, well, we will have to handle it. Yeah.
Is there a contain? If channel contain, should I do contains?
Yeah, you can, yes, you can use contain and then switch the options here.
Yeah, if it contains, then post. If it does not contain, then create one.
But anyways, it
No,
but
this will,
but anyways, it will
this,
go into each and every channel.
you have to find a way to filter it. Can you go on
Let's see.
above this?
Let's see.
What
Let's
was
see
the
what
condition
happens.
based upon which we created?
Which I created what? This
Channel.
channel list.
How are you creating channels?
Channel I'm creating if it does not exist here. Create a channel.
Can you open this, create a channel?
Again,
Sure,
the
advanced
variable.
options.
Nothing.
No, nothing is there.
I've just utilized the variable everywhere now, just to keep it consistent. Let's test it. Let's see what happens. If it breaks, we know where it breaks. Okay, so right now we have two channels, a journal channel and a Terry research channel. I'll only run it right now on Terry research and see what kind of message we get. Okay, let me go out, come back in, and let's do a welcome customer. Come on. What happened? Go checker. There's no warnings here at this moment, but let's see. What happened to this one? Welcome. Okay. The window populate. Okay, run flow. To monitor it, go to the flow page. Okay. Let's do a refresh here. And let's keep eye here. What happens here? Oh, it failed. Okay. Where it failed is it failed here, apply to each as you guys were expecting it. It said it is true. Expression result is true. If it is true, then it should do this, right? Oh yeah,
Can
it
you
went
click
here.
on this post message? Yeah. Can you click here?
Yeah. Oh.
1 second.
Okay, what is this? Post message to conversation channel. Terry research. This channel already exists. So what happened?
Can you go to the output?
to output.
Yeah.
Where? Oh, here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It says
On the
click to
right.
download. Click to download. But it is downloading. Let's zoom this in. It says what? Okay. This one body. Bot request failed. Request to the
Bad
bot framework
syntax.
failed.
Bad
Oh,
format of
so
for
bot
conversation.
failed. It says here, na? Request to the bot framework failed with error, bad syntax. Why is there an other option instead of using bot? I didn't look at it, or maybe didn't pay attention to this part of it. Is it supposed to be bot? It should be. I don't want a human involved in that message saying, "Oh, this channel has been created." Like this was posted by a bot. So what failed in the bot engine right now? It was going to the right decision tree. That's good. But let's open this. It says, oh, flow bot. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
that's correct, right?
Yeah, it's right. The channel
Hmm.
should be channel name or channel ID.
Channel is here. As in channel is here, and channel is whatever the ID. Oh, wait a minute. So now I should give it an ID, right? Let's try that. There should be an ID. Yeah, because at this point, assigning it to a variable will always be a problem. Yeah, I'm passing channel name. Sorry, my bad. It should be channel ID. In this case, it will create a channel and that will go there. Oh, sorry. Okay. Saved. Saving. Saved. Okay. Let's do this again. Let's run the flow. And let's done with it. Okay, I'm waiting for. Oh, I got the email twice, and it again failed or what? Let me see. This channel already exists. Okay, so the message that came, but it says it's failed. So the message came. What? Wait a minute. Action condition failed. No dependent action succeeded.
You need to filter this channel because it will again no will be there for general channel, no? Because it will run for each.
Okay, let's see what the value was. Expression was true
Don't
here,
specify anything for no.
but then it will not create it. Because what happens, and let's try that out. What happens if I pick a next customer, 30,000, and I do a welcome customer? In this case, I would like to run the right hand side of the flow rather than the left hand side of the flow, which means it does not exist and it should go ahead and create a new channel in there. Okay, let's run the flow. Done. Okay, let's wait here. I'll keep an eye on my email. Oh, the channel is created, it seems. Yes. The message was posted like this, but my history says, now what? I guess it requires a next action after the repeat. You know, sir, what I'm saying? I'm saying there is no follow-up action after that.
Why do we need a follow-up action?
A action failed, no dependent action succeeded.
Because see, the thing is, when you go to the supply each, na, it is running for each of these channels. So for now, you have got three channels there: gray, general, and two for customers. So it will run for each of them. So what you
Okay, so
might have to,
it's that repeat until. Is that repeat
yeah,
until?
yeah.
And let's see that when I change that to second, what happened with that? Okay, the expression is false. That request. Why? Oh, so that's just repeating everything. Okay, so we might have to do a if else, not a repeat until kind of thing. Let's talk nav or BC in that sense. So right now it's doing a
I guess
repeat until.
I guess there would be a if else statement as well.
Okay. Is there a let's see the decision. Is there a decision tree somewhere? No. You said if else. Let's try if else. No, it's very
Can you
slow.
type split?
Maybe I'm doing something else. Are there any built-in control, number function, date and time? It's a condition. It's a condition. It's applied to each that we have tried. Terminal switch. Identifies a single case to execute based on evaluation of a switch input. And
Yeah,
apply
this
to
is what
each
we
is.
should use basically. If exists, then one will flow.
But if
So we'll have to,
exists in the list, because in the equals, I
well,
can't do a condition. It's just a hard
so we'll have
coded
to,
word.
we might have to read it, how to manage this thing.
Yeah, I can't believe that the flow does not have a if else if in a list thing. I'm pretty sure we are unaware about it.
The problem is it is running for each repeat until basically for all the
Right.
records. We need to filter those things.
Hmm. Okay. These are the options. Terminal. What is terminal? Terminate the execution of a run. Okay. Switch. Single case to execute based on the evaluation which you have tried. There is no way. Scope. Do until. This is applied to each which you have tried. And condition. Condition we have tried. And then it automatically becomes a apply to each as soon as you apply the condition. Hmm. Now that's something I'll have to find out and dig deep into it. But I'm pretty sure there will be something around. Let's see. Is that under what kind of apply to each we did? We did contains that. Hmm. Can I create a variable and said is false?
Can you do one
Sorry
more
guys,
thing? Can
I'm
you
thinking
do for one
I'm
more?
thinking as a
So what we'll have to do is, if no, na, then you will have to
hmm.
match the values, the channel name with the channel name, and in that it will go and post a message.
What
It
if
will
I
not
do
post
this
the
and
message to all.
I'm trying this because we are doing a contain stuff, so that it'll run for the first one successfully that it did find one. But what about if I do a, where is the variable? Where is the variable? Built in, where is variable? Come on, variable. Okay, set initialize variable. Okay. Run completed. Initial value as false. Do you do that false in Boolean? I don't know. Okay. Just say silly attempt of being a developer. But let's try if the run completed is equals to false. Okay, do I need to check these, both of these? I don't know. And if run completed is true, then I add the set variable. For run completed as true. Am I doing it correctly? Do you think as a developer? I'm just
No
trying
idea.
something. I'm just setting up a temporary variable until unless it'll be false, it will try to run either of the case. If any of these case runs, that will set the variable to be true. When it go back into the loop, it'll say, is it false? And it'll say no, so it'll not do either or because it's and. Silly attempt,
Can you do
guys.
one thing? Can you do
Yes,
one
sir.
thing? If after create channel post message, can you terminate this? There was one option of terminating the run. Na? So after you have created a channel, there's no need of running it through the loop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a terminate?
Not here,
Terminate
not here, not
both
here,
the
not
ways,
here,
both
on the
the
right
ways,
side. No,
both
no,
the
no,
ways,
it
right?
will terminate the complete run. If the first channel is found, some other channel where it goes and posts a message.
I just want to do it for that one channel.
But you're not you're able to filter those channels. Na? You're running it for all the records in the channels.
Oh, it says you can't use the terminate because you are inside a for each.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let me try this stupid developer thing. Does it work or not? It tells me that you're not, you will get into a loop, but who cares? It's okay, but yeah, in the meantime, for the next meeting, if you have a scenario that you think that we can discuss, just send me an email about it.
I,
I'm liking flow as in.
I read a very interesting article, though it was an old article, somewhere of 2020 or 2021. I don't know if you have used it. So it says that if you create a workflow in Flow, it gets automatically added to Business Central.
It does. The only catch is that it has a very big limitation, and maybe we can talk about it. The limitation is that it does everything other than the flow. So like the Business Central, what do we call that? Business Central workflows have these different options on workflow, right? That is it a based on amounts or is it based on are there multiple approvals for this or is there only one
Yeah,
approval for this? That is something that is not part of the flow approval. It
okay.
cannot run it on the schedule or in that. Oh, I did it wrong. Sorry, guys. It should be 0 or 1. Okay, but yeah, in the meantime, I'll show you where I did that. I was trying it somewhere else. I'll show it to you how it looks like. Where is that? Initial values two. Okay, it should be 0. Thank you. Then here it should be here. If it is 0, here it should be 1, and here it should be 1. That was my doubt. Will it take that or not? True or false? Enter a valid boolean. What they want? Yes or no?
Maybe. Should I check on the Google?
Boolean in Power Automate. Okay, we'll see that. But while we're talking about this, when you come into workflows, Sandeep sir, hmm, I was playing with it last week. You see this. This is a
Yeah,
Power
this one.
Automate
Yeah.
flow, right? The only catch when you set it up, and this is all predefined, so you don't have to do crazy stuff in setting it up on flow. But it does this. Add record restriction, which is basic, like as nav does or bc does. It's the same thing. Record restriction pending approval and send it back to flow. And then there are three kind of responses it has: continue, reject, or cancel, which means approver has uh, approved it, rejected, or cancelled it, and that's it. There's no looping around it. And when you look at it from the guys, I'll look at it and might discuss it next week once I finalize this. When you look at from the flow side, you surely will have to do a custom if needed, to which will also require a custom API from Business Central. And I just it's a pretty early thought about it, but this is what you get from template. When a purchase document approval is recorded, again do the get record. Once you get the record, start an approval flow where these are the options. Everyone must approve, first to response, and then these are custom option where there are nothing predefined that you can utilize. I have typed everyone must approve, but then this email ID is something which I don't know how should I assign it, because the email should go to the approver ID, email ID, but it is actually going to the requested ID because there is no approver ID on this. It just passes you the requested by user ID, which directly tells me that if you're using the base out of box Microsoft Flow approvals, you
Hmm.
will you will only pass it to a static email ID. Like I can say, oh, go to postsaurabh@gmail.com and so on and so forth. But I can't utilize my approver in Business Central saying, oh, go to this email ID, which is your approver. That's the first
So that
thing.
means we can post it to a channel. So that means maybe whatever you
Yeah,
call email work group or something. So
email work
we can create
group.
email groups. We can create email groups.
Yeah, right.
Say for example
But then,
for
yeah,
purchase. Uh,
but then if you're thinking that will you be able to utilize the power of Business Central / Snap, where you can define it based on salesperson or based on different amounts, and then can have an approval chain. From the first look, what I've
yeah.
looked this week, that's not possible. It says approve / reject. Everyone must approve, but there is no everyone.
Oh,
That's and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I did all my research. I searched here and there. I utilized the standard template. I looked at all these fields which are being exported, and there is no exposed field for the approver ID or the next approver, more or less. How you identify that?
hmm.
So yeah, it's not completely baked in. If you would like to utilize it, you will have to expose some of your custom entity, like maybe approval user setup page, and then do a apply to all thing until you find the final approver on it. And I think it's possible. It's not impossible, but yeah, that doesn't come out of box. Does that make sense? As in REST is as it is, as in,
Um,
it'll send you.
hmm.
These are some triggers which I'm still figuring it out, as in which API have this, because these are two API actions which are available, the workflow endpoint. Now, and maybe I'm thinking loud, but will it approve if I try to create a approval process on, let's say, transfer order, just to take an example, or warehouse shipment? Because if it's a business central endpoint, then it only works with the sales and purchase and other customers and vendors. These are the Microsoft defined entities,
Hmm.
right?
We'll have to find.
Yeah, because somewhere in an API, and there is an API endpoint for workflow endpoints, which seems to be the endpoint actions, which are surely invoking some code units based on what's going in, but which also tells me that I'll not be able to utilize it for everything that I would like to, let's say, create a custom approval process for my warehouse shipments. Whenever they go, I need a shipment. I can't do that because there it'll not be covered in this. So I might also have to define this endpoint separately for myself. So it looks good on pre-sales videos and marketing videos, but when you start looking at it from a developer perspective or from a business perspective, people, especially who are coming from nav and know how much powerful the nav workflows are, and it looks a little bit limited. Next week, do we
Hmm.
want to kind of try this, attempt this? I don't know.
Yeah, just read it. Now just thinking of expanding it to the places where it is not there.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, so shipments
Okay.
and things like that, where
So
it is not there.
with that, yeah, with that, let's do this. Just send me some scenarios if you have something in mind via email, and maybe we'll continue the discussion going forward in the coming meetings.
Are we going to have cover Power Automate cloud, or are we also thinking of doing some desktop scenarios? Maybe an OCR.
Desktop scenarios or on-prem scenarios? I'm a little bit confused.
Power Automate desktop.
I can try that. I haven't utilized it, but yeah, we can try that. And that's the thing, that why not? Until unless it doesn't require to purchase the software. I don't know OCRs are free or not, but
Mm, somewhat are free. Some of the things are free. Number of calls
okay,
and everything.
let's try that
No,
out.
I'm just
I
thinking
don't
out
know.
loud.
Yeah, yeah. I have no problems. As in, if you are getting into Power Automate, let's see what all is possible there. Let's see what all we can do there. And I'll make sure that I solve that team's puzzle that we were stuck today. So don't worry. That's either I'll post a blog about it or we'll cover that first thing next week. Okay, then. See you next week, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Saurabh.
Thanks.